everyone. My name is Tricia Adams. I am the Performing Arts Coordinator at UW-Green Bay, and I am joined tonight by Alan Kopischke, who is Associate Lecturer at UWGB in the Theater Department. He's also the director of the upcoming production, Twilight, Los Angeles, 1992. And I'm also joined by two of the students who are in the production, Aisa Rogers and Cory O'Donnell. So Alan, I want to start with you first. Tell me a little bit just about the play. What is Twilight, Los Angeles, 1992?
So it's a documentary style theater. So this is based on interviews that Anna DeVere Smith did of people involved in the Rodney King beating trials and riots back in 91 and 92 in Los Angeles. For those who weren't around then, the Rodney King beating was one of the first sort of private citizen captured video of police violence against a Black man. And it really set off quite a firestorm across the country in reevaluating race and policing and violence and the intersection of the three of them. And it really digs deeply into the whole racial landscape in Los Angeles leading up to it, and a lot of the issues and a whole variety of perspectives surrounding it. It's a really important piece of theater back in the day, and I think it remains incredibly relevant, tragically still as relevant as it was back then.
So you said it's about the Rodney King, but it's interviews about people who were there at the time. So the play is not a traditional narrative, correct?
Correct. It's a series of monologues, and these are transcribed verbatim by Anna. And then originally she performed all of these roles. There are, if I'm remembering correctly, 37 roles and 59 total monologues in the play. And originally Anna performed every single one of them herself. A few years later, I think she then directed a two-person version, and since then it has been done with multiple members of the cast.
So you mentioned that it's, of course, still relevant today. Is that why you decided to do this play?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. Certainly, these problems have been around for a long time. They've never really disappeared, but boy, was a bright light shown on them this past summer. Everybody can probably recite half a dozen names from this past summer. And so it's a subject that's painfully relevant right now. And it's also a piece that lends itself to being done during COVID because it's all monologues. So it made it much easier for us to rehearse and shoot this safely.
Okay. I'd like to talk with Aisa just a minute. Both you and Cory and I guess everybody in the production, you have multiple roles and multiple characters that you play, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you pick one character and tell us a little bit about that character?
Ooh. If I had to pick one. Personally, I'd pick Katie.
I mean, first of all, how many characters do you play?
In a traditional sense, I play 5 characters. 5. Maria, Katie, Walter, Elaine, Jesse. 5. I play 5 characters.
Wow. Okay, so that is definitely much different than a traditional production, right?
Mm-hmm. And then specifically with Maria, she also plays at least 12 different personalities herself. So
So it's been a bit of a stretch for your skills, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So is there one character that you particularly really like?
Oh, I love them all. Personally, Elaine Brown. She's sticking with me really hard right now.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about her? I mean, these are all based on real people, correct?
Oh yeah, Elaine Brown. She was an active member in the Black Panther Party, and the way she speaks, it's. I've actually channeled one of my aunts into her because she reminds me so much of one of my aunts. The way she passionately speaks, and then she speaks in rhyme sometimes, and it's almost hypnotizing to listen to and read the things she says.
Great. It sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to it now. Cory, how about you? How many characters do you play?
I believe it's 6 or 7. If I can count correctly.
Got
Not
so
always
many,
been a
you
strong
can't keep
suit.
track of them, huh?
Yeah. But I would say, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to ask if there's a favorite one that you know.
I think the character that stands out to me most is Twilight Bay, actually. The character that the show is named after. He really sticks out to me because he talks about kind of this, he calls it limbo, and the idea of kind of being stuck in a lot of different places. Twilight was involved in the gangsters of 1992, which was, huge. And he talks about the idea of being before his time, bringing up ideas and concepts that are considered by most to not be at a time yet that he can do it. But he pushes that boundary and, makes it realistic, and kind of talks in this philosophical idea of where we stand as people and how we are as individuals.
Interesting. Okay. So there's some real depth to these characters that you guys are playing then. All right, great. So Cory, what do you think makes this play really unique?
I think what makes it really unique is that, it's a documentary style theater, and we don't see a lot of that in kind of the popular kind of track of theater. And these are real human beings. It's for, like Alan said verbatim, this is exactly what these people are saying. And so you have to, as an actor, when you explore who these characters are, there's a lot of holes that you have to represent, because these are real people and they have their own personalities, and it's not a case of, oh, this person is perfect, oh, this person is real. They're real, so they have their flaws, they have their strengths, and they have what makes them unique.
So being that these are real characters, Cory and Aisa both, do you feel a sense of, I guess, duty to make sure that you're being true to the characters?
That's an understatement.
Huh?
That's honestly an understatement.
Is it? Okay.
Because
I mean, I guess I would think that being a real life, based on real life people, there's not a whole lot of leeway for you to get terribly creative, right? I mean, so can you tell me a little bit about that? Or, how is that different than a normal character that you might play?
especially with the way the characters actually present themselves. Usually in theater, like, you get like a character and you're able to come up with their backstory, and you come up with their personality, how they act, how they present themselves to others. But in this case, you actually have to do the research. What does this person look like? What does this person talk like? And especially playing characters that exactly aren't my ethnicity, especially with Walter Park. He's a Korean man, and I am by far not a Korean man. And so actually channeling that dialect and how he lived his life and the things that he's experienced, it's really daunting, but at the same time it's it feels like an honor in some kind of way that I'm able to present him how he lived his life.
Okay, great. So, Cory, back to you. Can you tell me a little bit about the research process for the characters? Did you have videos or interviews or anything other than the script that you could look at or, draw from?
Well, thankfully, we have a phenomenal dramaturg that also helped us get us on the right path. And the research part was quite difficult because it's, you have to make sure you really know what you're talking about. And thankfully, we have a great dramaturg in Dr. Thomas Campbell, and Alan here has also helped us kind of, go along with it too. But yeah, there are some videos of some of the characters that I play that I've been able to kind of base off of. Um, and also just, trying to understand, even if I can't find exactly who these people are, how they would have lived, how what their situation was, kind of their point of view. But it's been really cool to kind of really dig deep and kind of embody who these people are and pay respect to who they actually are.
Okay. So, Alan, I want to come back to you for just a second. Kind of along those same lines, as a director, do you find it harder or easier to direct a show that is based on real events and real people?
I don't know. Harder, easier. It's different.
Different?
As Asia and Cory have mentioned, you're doing very specific research that you can't just pick and choose. Say, oh, that's an interesting detail. I want to take that. You're actually going to, on one end, you have people like Cornell West and Maxine Waters and Bill Bradley and Jesse Norman, who are very public figures. And there's a lot of video, audio information available to us. There are other people that Anna interviewed who are in the show who are not famous by any means, and really their claim to fame is being in this show, and we may not have much information about them at all, and we dig and do our best, but as you use the word honor, we do our best to honor each of these people and the characters as we represent them as best we can.
Okay. So, if you question for each of you, if you had to describe this show in one word, what would that word be? Yeah, right, narrow it down to one word, right?
Powerful.
Raw.
Moving.
Okay, great. All right. So, I guess one last question about the show. If you were to tell people about the show and what is it, what would make them want to come and see this show or turn on their TV or mobile device and stream this show? Um, what is the it's not a musical, it's not a comedy. Um, so what is the big draw? What's going to be the big impact that people are going to take away from this?
Well, I'll start. Seeking understanding of our fellow human beings. While there's a lot of conflict and pain in this piece, there's also beauty and compassion and humanity, and yes, even humor. But at its core, it's about understanding each other.
Okay. Asia or Cory, do you want to add anything to that?
I would say this is a show that's going to make you think. It's going to make you explore your own personal ideas. And the one thing that I've realized in this show is there's really no true black and white. Everyone's got their different story, and it really makes you reflect on yourself.
Okay.
I would just say it's necessary because there's a lot going on in the world right now. And a good way to understand what's going on is to watch this show and feel everything that's happening.